Hello and welcome to today's video where we are going to be going through the Gran Turismo livery editor and how you can create your own custom liveries or replica liveries. So today we are going to be replicating Michael Schumacher's 2004 Ferrari. So I'll bring a image of that up now. Okay, so this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be creating this livery on a Super Formula car, the Honda version, in the livery editor. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need to do is paint the whole car red. Gran Turismo gives you a number of pre-selected colours, but you can scroll down to the colour picker and see the whole chart and get the colour to match exactly what you want. So personally I am a little bit colourblind, so I've tried my best. Let me know if it isn't the colour we're looking for. Okay, so we're doing that here and selecting that, all good. Okay, and then we're going to look at some of the other parts, so the rear wing for example, and we're just going to change that to white as it needs to be. Fantastic. It's always worth just clicking on the other and changing the colour on there just to see which parts are affected by the other category. So when we go to put decals on the car, we'll need to know in specific spots where we need to select other rather than the main body. The other thing we need to do before we start adding decals to the car is to add our race numbers. As soon as we race in GT Sport online, the game will automatically put race numbers on. So if you've created a livery and you have logos in the place where those numbers will be added, they will then no longer be visible during the race. So it's definitely worth adding those numbers in beforehand before you create your livery so that they will still be there. Also changing the tyre labels to Bridgestone there, as Ferrari used Bridgestone tyres back in 2004. So starting off with a white square then to add the white part of the car. So you can see here where we've added the white square, we also have a little bit of overlap. Overlap white where we don't want it. So to get rid of this, what we need to do is click on the projection area and change either the angle limit or the depth limit. And what this will do is basically take off the colour where you don't want it. On a car like this problem tends to happen quite a lot, so you'll need to do a lot of adjusting. On a sort of more standard car shape, it happens a lot less because the car doesn't have any strange angles. So yes, as you can see now, we are adding the side fins. Unfortunately they're a little bit different to the actual car, but we're going to try and match them as best we can. For this car, I've also noticed that the front wing is under the category bonnet, so if you need to edit anything on the front wing you have to select bonnet first. So that is our base colour change done. What we're now going to do is go into the decals, select from the logos that are already preloaded into the Gran Turismo system, and start adding as many as we can to the car. So you can see here we have the Shell logo already in the game, so we can add that everywhere that we need to. So we're just going to go ahead and add as many of these logos that we can find preloaded in the livery editor to the car, like so. So we've got Bridgestone, we've got Shell, I think we've got one or two others as well. So from here we need to go into Discover and then click on Decals, and then we're going to go up into the top corner and search, and we're going to start with typing in Ferrari. Okay, so we're going to get all our Ferrari badges, all our Ferrari logos, anything kind of associated with the Ferrari brand that we need for this particular car. And then we're going to click add to collection once we find a logo that we need. So sometimes you'll need to scroll through older content and keep going for a number of turns until you find the exact badge you need that is in the right colour, and the right design for the car. Next up, we're going to start searching for the sponsor logo. So here we're typing in Vodafone, and we're going to look for the Vodafone logos we need. So there's lots of different variations of sponsor logos, and you'll have to scroll through quite a lot until you find the ones you need that match the exact design on the car. So the ones that we used in 2004 were these logos, so the writing over the actual logo, and there's a kind of a depth perspective to the logo itself, a 3D effect. So those are the ones we need. And then we're going to go back into the livery editor. I'm going to press R1 to scroll across the collection, and you can see these are all the logos that I have added to my collection from the Discover section of Gran Turismo. From there, we're just going to select them one by one and add them, resize them, and in some cases recolor them to where we want on the car. So this takes a little bit of time and a little bit of fiddling around just to make sure you're 100% happy with where you're placing the logos and their size. It's always good to refer to a couple of different pictures of the car you're trying to recreate, especially when you're obviously recreating a replica livery. So as you can see, we are just adding those logos to the car, trying to get them as best match we can. So like I said, it can be time consuming doing this bit, which is why I've obviously sped it up here, but overall it doesn't take too long. It probably takes you around, I think I finished this livery in about an hour. So when you add some logos to the car, you might need to adjust the view that you're adding them from. So here we are adding these Vodafone logos to the front of the main body of the car, and we have added them from the roof view, and this just makes them add onto the body and read a little bit nicer. So if you were to add these from a side view, they'd look a little bit distorted and out of shape. So that is why we're using the roof view there. Another problem you might find is like this: we're adding the round Vodafone symbol to the wing mirror there, and it's not quite a circle. So what we want to do is go into projection method and click align with the camera, and then what we're going to do is we're going to adjust the cursor in the middle of the screen so that it aligns how we want to view a perfect circle, and then we're going to select that, and now you can see the circle is much better. It's not distorted at all, and it's how we want it to look. Another method that you can use to make the logos that you want a little bit different or change them from how you found them is adding shapes and layering them up. So here we've got the Marlboro logo on this part of the Ferrari logo, and we're not using that branding for this car, and we're doing it without the cigarette branding. So we're adding a white square over the top to change that. You'll probably find as well that when you add new logos to the car next to other ones, you need to adjust the size of the previous one to make it fit nicely. Right, so on to the next part, adding a Vodafone logo to the nose cone. And you can see I'm struggling to get it to go exactly where I want it. It kind of flickers from left to right, and I can't quite get it in place. So what we're going to do to solve this is again use the projection method. So align with the camera, get it exactly where you want it, then select the logo you want to add there, and it will fall perfectly into place, and you'll be able to adjust it nicely. So it's a very, very good way of adding logos into places that sometimes it's a little bit tricky to. Another example of layering up a logo with a shape again here. So we've got the Italian flag, and what we need to do is add a nice white background to it so that it stands out a little bit better. Obviously the red blends in with the car at the moment, so we're going to have to add that in behind it, and it looks a lot nicer, a lot better. It's just these little details that really make a difference to the car if you spend the time to add them in. On to the front wing then, and this was not challenging, but I kept messing around with it and kept playing with it until I got it how I liked it. Where the wing isn't quite as rectangular as it is on the Ferrari, there are a few different angles in there, and I think the final version that you see in a minute was a little bit different. So I quickly jumped into a replay of a recent race on Gran Turismo Sport just to check that the numbers I'd use were correct, which they were. Anyway, back to designing the car then. And we are using another example of layering up shapes with letters there to create the E. A nice little detail, the wreath just above the headrest of Michael Schumacher, and then Schumacher's name itself onto the car for the finishing touches. And here it is then. So here is the finished replica 2004 Michael Schumacher Ferrari livery that I have created. This is available to download if you go into Discover, search for car liveries and type in Schumacher Ferrari or F2004, and you'll be able to download it and use it on your own car. Anyway, I hope this video has been helpful and you've enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more of these type of tutorial videos on creating car liveries, give it a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe and like the video as well if you've enjoyed it. Thank you. Bye.